This is WKYT This Morning.
It's Friday and Kentucky Morning Start here on WKYT. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope your day's off to a fabulous start. The weekend's here. It's going to be hot. Maybe you're going to the lake, maybe to the pool, maybe to the Beer Cheese Festival.
Make preparations to try to stay cool.
All right, now at 6:30, a final service will be held for the great Muhammad Ali today. We are live in Louisville, where fans are already getting ready for the ceremony.
Also, a petition calling for an Ali statue in the state capitol is gaining steam, but we'll tell you why it is unlikely to happen. That story ahead.
And just days after burglars hit several Lexington businesses, the same type of crime spree is under investigation again this morning.
Now, meteorologist Micah Harris, we are looking at another clean start to the day. Everything looks good. It actually feels really nice, too, in the 50s and 60s. 88 by the afternoon. Much warmer conditions in the past few days, and it actually gets much warmer than that. I'll show you 90s in your forecast, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder coming out.
All right, a little variety there, and let's get right to the news this morning. Boxing legend and cultural icon Muhammad Ali will make one more trip through his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky this morning.
Many will be gathering for a memorial service in his honor. WKYT's Mike Byers among the crowds live in Louisville, going over how the city will honor the greatest one more time.
Although there's no one behind me at this moment, I have spoken with several people this morning. One person has made the trip all the way from California. They're all here to say their final goodbye to Muhammad Ali. Now, many of them will gather here at the Ali Center, which is one of many locations where the procession will pass with the body of the three-time heavyweight champion. The procession will begin at 9 this morning. It'll make its way through the streets of his hometown of Louisville, passing places like the Ali Center, as well as his boyhood home on Grand Avenue. The procession will come to an end at Cave Hill Cemetery, where Ali will be laid to rest. A public memorial service will follow at 2 this afternoon at the KFC Yum Center. Tickets for the memorial were given out for free and quickly ran out Wednesday. Ali's longtime friend and former president Bill Clinton will eulogize the champ. Other notables taking part in the eulogy are Billy Crystal and Brian Gumbel. Now, if you weren't able to get a ticket, we have you covered. We will have the entire memorial service live on WKYT, WKYT.com, and through our mobile news app beginning at 2 o'clock. It's sure to be an emotional day out here in Louisville. Bill and Rebecca, live in Louisville, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, we thank you very much this morning. Muhammad Ali will always be remembered for his success inside the ring, but his generosity outside of boxing will not be forgotten either. In the early 1990s, the city of Lexington was dealing with a serious racial issue. Riots and protests had broken out after a black teenager was shot by a white police officer. Looking to try to restore hope during the city's dark time, local civil rights activist Chester Grundy sought help from the legendary boxer. Ali accepted his invitation and came for 2 days to Lexington. He made several stops around the city, even attended a UK basketball game. It didn't happen overnight, but Grundy credits his trip for restoring unity across the community.
Well, Muhammad Ali's death has created a new debate in Frankfort. A petition started calling for a statue of Ali to be placed in the state capitol. Lexington attorney and former state treasurer Jonathan Miller wants to see the boxer statue replace the controversial and current statue of Confederate President Jefferson Davis.
Now that there's a consensus to remove Davis, let's replace him with the grandson of slaves who did more for civil rights and who was known as the most famous international person from Kentucky in the 20th century, if not the most famous human in the 20th century, Muhammad Ali.
While many have joined the petition, states rules that a person has to be dead at least 10 years before receiving a statue at the Capitol. Also, Ali's Islamic faith will not allow a statue of him.
Time this morning is 6:35 on WKYT. Other news now. Police are investigating after 3 gas station robberies in Lexington overnight. Michelle Chamberlain is at our alert desk with the details on the suspect and what happened there. Michelle.
Bill, the suspect fits the same description in all 3 robberies, and these robberies all took place within an hour of one another between midnight and 12:45. So here's a map to give you an idea of just how close these robberies were. The first robbery happened at the Shell on Nicholasville Road, then a Marathon on Clays Mill Road was robbed, that followed by a robbery at the Speedway on Boston Road. Now, in all these robberies, police say the suspect is a man wearing all black, a black hoodie, bandana, and dark pants. Police say he entered each store with a gun, demanded money, and once he got the money, he ran out and drove off in a dark SUV. So with all this information, the robberies are believed to be connected, but police cannot positively say that's the case. Now, we'll keep you up to date on this story on WKYT.com. And Bill, as you mentioned earlier this week, there were 3 robberies, and that same 3 people were arrested in connection to those robberies. So Lexington police have been busy trying to figure out these robberies.
Right, and interesting when you have 2 separate strings of situations like that. So certainly the police have their work cut out for them this morning. We have had a string of great temperatures over the last few days. Been really pleasant. Things are getting ready to change for the weekend.
Well, they're pleasant if you like really hot,
like
weather.
hot.
Meteorologist Mike Harris here to fill us in.
Yeah, you know, some people actually like the really hot weather. I personally do not. I'd rather it be 75 to about 85. I'm cool with that. But we're getting into the 90s in some locations once we hit the weekend. Live Sky Camera, it's another good-looking shot to the day. To start off your day, it's early sunrise. We're sitting there at 60 degrees in Lexington, 55 now in the Laurel County region. Off toward Jackson, it's 62. Mount Sterling, Camargo, Jeffersonville, go off into Bath County, and we're doing just fine there in Salt Lake, 59 now. And Moorhead. So a lot going on this weekend and a lot of events happening. Just know this, it's going to be warm for everyone. Widespread warmth. There's no doubt about that. Once we hit the afternoon, most of this is going to be north. I'd say noon to about, say, 5 p.m. There is that small chance, very small chance, at seeing a rumble of thunder. Festival of the Bluegrass kicked off yesterday. We're going throughout the weekend. So just keep in mind there is a small chance here in Lexington that we could see a passing shower thunderstorm. Guys, we're going to talk about this heat for the weekend coming up in just about 5 minutes.
All right, at least it isn't cold, which we were dealing with a few months back, certainly here. WKYT News continuing. 2 people are recovering after crashing their motorcycle in Bourbon County. It happened last night on Millersburg-Ruddles Mill Road. One of the victims had to be airlifted to UK Hospital. The cause of that crash is still unknown. A Jessamine County babysitter accused of abusing an infant has been indicted on multiple charges. Back in April, police say Erin Thompson was caring for 4-month-old Kylie Joe at her Jessamine County home when the child was injured. Someone called 911 and the baby was taken to Kentucky Children's Hospital, and the people there then called the police. Kylie Joe suffered serious injuries, including a skull fracture, brain damage, and broken ribs. Thompson will be arraigned in the case later this month.
Well, the trial for a high-profile Lexington murder case will continue today. Mark Taylor faces murder and kidnapping charges for the 2013 death of Alex Johnson. Yesterday, the jury heard from another man charged in the case, Timothy Ballard. Ballard pleaded guilty to kidnapping and evidence tampering earlier this year. As part of his plea deal, he agreed to testify against Taylor. Ballard told the jury that Taylor and Johnson were friends and partners in a marijuana business. He said on the night of the murder, he drove Taylor to Johnson's house. Taylor lured Johnson to the car. Shortly after, Ballard claims Taylor started beating Johnson.
And what's Alex Johnson's condition at this point?
At this point in time,
Yes.
he's still alive
And how do you know that?
because I heard him take his last breath when I drove away.
Do you believe he died in the car?
I believe so.
And defense attorneys asked Ballard if he killed Johnson. He said no. Police say the barrel with Johnson's body inside was dumped in the Kentucky River. A man was arrested in Louisville after police say he stole nearly $44,000 worth of meat. Previn Sanford is accused of stealing 9 pallets of meat back in April. Another man is accused as well and was arrested in April. Both men face felony charges of theft. Police say surveillance video showed the men loading the pallets into a moving truck and driving off. The owner of the slaughterhouse says they stole meat and was later found at a grocery store.
All right, from that to the campaign trail, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders did not mention rival Hillary Clinton at a rally last night at RFK Stadium in Washington, and Sanders did not repeat his calls to persuade superdelegates to support him. Sanders' appearance came hours after he met with President Barack Obama at the White House, and Clinton received endorsements from Obama and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, as well as the vice president. The United States is adding more firepower in the fight against the Afghan Taliban. The White House has given the okay for U.S. airstrikes against the Taliban when necessary. Afghanistan has struggled with a resurgent Taliban, especially in the southern part of the country.
A Kurdish militant group is telling tourists that the war is on and Turkey is no longer safe. A group in the country called the Freedom Falcons claimed responsibility for a car bomb attack in Istanbul earlier this week that killed 11 people. The violence started in southeast Turkey last summer when a 2.5-year fragile truce between the state and Kurdish rebels collapsed. Investigators will try to determine if pieces of debris found off the coast of Africa and Australia are that of missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. 3 of the pieces were found off Madagascar by American lawyer Blaine Gibson. Another piece was found off an island off the coast of South Australia. Gibson is the same man who found a piece of wreckage earlier this year that investigators said almost certainly came from 370. The plane vanished in March of 2014 with 239 people on board. And I remember when that happened, Bill, it was such a strange, odd, just mystifying story. It continues to be.
It really does, a mystery that is out there. Also this morning, there's been an earthquake, preliminary magnitude 6.1 off the coast of Nicaragua. No casualties reported.
That's good to hear.
Right now. 6:42 is our time.
Let's check traffic right now and see how things are moving this morning with a look at live drive traffic. Here's a look at the Lexington Fayette County Urban Government's live drive cam as well. You can see things moving along pretty good there at Harrodsburg and Pasadena.
Yeah, you know, it's depending on the time of the year, that can be very, very busy. And time of day, it will get busier there in the next hour. But the early birds are on the move out there this morning in that bright sunshine, and we anticipate a nice Friday. Everybody be safe as we head into that weekend. You can get the latest traffic and weather information anytime with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download that for free in the app or Google Play stores. Sure is good to have you with us here on WKYT this morning, live from Lexington with all the latest.
Hope your Friday's off to a great start. After being in Iraq for a year, Georgia police helped an Army soldier give his mom the ultimate surprise.
And yes, it's about the heat the next few days, but also a few rumbles of thunder going through Indiana at this moment, heading south and southeast. Will they make their way into the state of Kentucky? I'll show you that with that answer coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
50s and 60s this morning. That's a little bit better than where we were just yesterday. Yesterday morning in the upper 40s, lower 50s. So we're about 5 to 10 degrees higher than where we were yesterday morning. So it's a pretty nice start as you walk out the door. And let me tell you this, it looks good too. But I will say this, there is a chance of rain today. It's not a great chance, but it's a chance. And if we are seeing a chance of rain, it's going to be northern Kentucky. That is your best bet. And still there is not a great chance either. But we need to watch this system. How far south does it come before it falls apart? Because the main piece of energy out of this is well toward the north. So the farther it gets away, better likelihood of it just falling apart. But I do expect at least a chance of rain along and north of I-64. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Because we get in through the late morning hours to around noontime, and here comes that little complex trying to work its way over the river. And there's noon, and you still see most of us are, listen, most of us will be dry today, virtually all of us, but we can't rule out that the system making its way all the way into northern Kentucky. So I'd say along 64 northbound, right around noon to about 3 or 4 p.m. That's your best bet at actually seeing a couple of rumbles of thunder. Then it fades. Look at 5 p.m. Nothing going on, right? Mid-80s, and a lot of events happening later on this afternoon off into the evening hours. You still have the fairs going on down toward the Cumberland region. If you're heading out to the lakes later on today, you have no problems. The pool's perfect for that for the kiddos. Trying to mow the grass, I would do it actually today, even though it's going to be mid to upper 80s. I would do it today because tomorrow and Sunday, you're talking lower 90s for most. Here comes that heat as it travels off towards your weekend. And look, it's going to be widespread. It's not just 1 or 2 locations. Virtually everybody will see at least 90 degrees this weekend, and that means with that moisture increasing, those heat index values will really be bumped up. You're talking 95 to about 98 degrees. It's the way it's going to feel this weekend. And steamy for those events, too, later on this weekend, Beer Cheese Festival, like Bill was talking about. And I said, you know what, that shows experience. He said, wait until the end to get your beer cheese going, because once you grab it early in the morning, you take off and run out and about throughout the festival, well, it might turn a little nasty on you. So grab it at the end when you're about to head out to your car. But the Beer Cheese Festival, yeah, there in Winchester and Clark County, that's tomorrow. 91 degrees, a lot going on with the Beef Festival, Harrodsburg, Lake Cumberland 360 going on, big event down there. And heading off into Sunday, if you still have those events, just know you have that small chance of rain in the forecast. But it's really about the heat the next few days, guys. You will absolutely feel it, guaranteed. Next week, we'll actually drop those temperatures, but that's only because of the cloud cover and the storm chances. So that's the only reason why you're really dropping it. It's going to be muggy, it will be warm, and we'll have that throughout the next 6 to 7 days.
All right. Pioneer Playhouse opening up tonight, and they get rolling here for their outdoor theater. Yeah,
absolutely.
Near Danville.
Perfect weather for that.
Yeah, 6:49, our time now.
Well, police pulled over a Georgia mother on her way to volunteer at a summer feeding program for children, but the traffic stop turned out to be really an elaborate surprise.
It did. Fresh off the plane from Iraq, Army Staff Sergeant Solomon Robinson planned the traffic stop with local police to surprise his mother of his return. An officer waited for Robinson's mother to leave her apartment. Then the cue was given to other officers to pull her over. With balloons and roses in hand, Robinson sneaks behind his mom's car just as the officer returns her ID.
Okay, well, my partner's going to bring your license back in just a second. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so hold on for a minute.
Just love that, huh?
Yeah,
Robinson was just 2 weeks before he's going to get to be home there. He'll have to return to Iraq for another year, but he said he is grateful for the little time that he has at home with his family, and it looks like his mom is too.
You know, and you can't blame her. It's just great to see that, and so heartwarming for a nice little surprise there.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, 6:50 now, 10 till 7 on WKYT this morning.
We have some more news. Stay with us.
Coming up, saying farewell to the greatest, Scott Pelley leads our coverage from Louisville, and we'll talk with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar about his friendship with Ali. Plus, what role will President Obama play in Hillary Clinton's campaign? More real news coming up on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. 6:53. We're about 7 minutes away from CBS This Morning at the top of the hour. Police are investigating after 3 gas station robberies all of a sudden overnight in Lexington.
Yeah, the gas stations were robbed on Nicholasville Road, Clays Mill, and Boston Road. In all 3 robberies, police say the suspect is a man wearing all black, a black hoodie, bandana, and dark pants. So far, no arrests have been made. The city of Louisville and the world pause to remember Muhammad Ali today.
The boxing icon who died last week at the age of 74 is being honored today with a star-studded memorial in his hometown. Don Champion has the latest on today's services.
Today's public memorial service for Muhammad Ali will be fit for a champion. Actor Will Smith and former heavyweight boxing champ Lennox Lewis are among 8 pallbearers.
I'm truly honored. He will always be remembered, and he will never be forgotten.
Thousands attended a traditional Islamic prayer service for Ali yesterday, where his family was seen for the first time since his death. The service drew celebrities and fans alike.
He exemplified all the true virtues of Islam, the togetherness, the community.
Today's interfaith event will draw dignitaries like Mormon Senator Orrin Hatch and the King of Jordan. Comedian Billy Crystal and former President Bill Clinton will help eulogize the champ.
You couldn't decide, is this guy a boxer or a ballerina? The way he moved, the speed, the grace.
Before the service, a hearse will carry Ali's body 19 miles through the city of Louisville, past places he held close to his heart.
This is why whenever I fight, I always make them announce Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm just so happy to be here.
Ali will be laid to rest today at Cave Hill Cemetery in his beloved hometown. Don Champion, CBS News, Louisville, Kentucky.
President Obama cannot attend today's service for Ali because it conflicts with his daughter Malia's high school graduation. His senior advisor, Valerie Jarrett, will attend in his place. Jarrett will be reading a statement from the president during the service. The White House says Ali's widow, Lonnie, has spoken with President Obama on the phone and has appreciated his kind words and condolences.
Power outages at a North Carolina amusement park have left some people stuck on the rides. This sounds like a nightmare. Those outages started at 8 o'clock last night at the Carowinds in Charlotte. One family says they were stuck on a ride for more than 2 hours. No, thank you. Here's cell phone video that one rider took, Josh Bryant. He took this while he was stuck. There's a point of view. No one injured, but a few people, including Bryant, said they would not be going back to the park. Can't blame them.
Right.
Yikes. The 148th running of the Belmont Stakes is tomorrow. So far, Exaggerator is the favorite. ESPN reports his odds to win the third jewel of the Triple Crown are 9-5. Exaggerator also won the Preakness, defeating Kentucky Derby winner Nyquist, but Nyquist will not run in the Belmont.
Well, it was a good contest while it lasted there with those two. All right, it's 6:56 now, heading towards 7 o'clock, and we want to check weather.
Yeah, and the weather look for today is not a bad look. I mean, it's going to be much warmer, but if there is a chance of rain, that I-64 corridor in northbound, that is the best bet. That's the greatest area that you could actually see a small chance of rain. And then, guys, for the weekend, you're talking about 90s in the forecast. It's going to be warm for all those
The big story is the heat, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's more up to date than you. Thank you for being with WKYT.